Hey, what's up, people? It's TTC. Today we're having a walk around Manchester Toy Fair at Bowler's Exhibition Centre. I managed to squeeze this into a really busy Sunday by getting an early bird ticket. I'm full of a cold. It's 8 a.m. on a Sunday, so let's super low energy see what we can find. Christmas ain't far off now, so I can't really go spending too much money. I'm mostly looking for some sequel Black Series figures, namely Poe and Finn. Maybe some Clone Wars stuff. And some Marvel Legends, anything related to X-Men. But I'm always happy to just see what cool stuff I come across. I'm already seeing here a few bits that I kind of wish I'd asked about. Obviously getting here this early in the morning, a lot of the vendors were still sort of setting up. Some of them were set up, but they were half asleep. When it comes to these types of toy fairs, I'm a rummage through giant boxes of stuff rather than look at carded things, so get ready to see a lot of my hands and some sandwich bags. The guy who stole this was super friendly. He kept bringing out lots of different Star Wars stuff whilst I was rummaging here, trying to start a conversation with me, but way too early for me. My head was completely up my arse. Wouldn't be a toy fair really without tons of Power of the Force. Does anybody actually collect this? This was sort of a preliminary walkabout and see what there is. Just do like a first lap. Don't worry, I will stop and have a better look at some stuff. I'm sure the last toy fair that they did here used the entire room, but this one seemed to be split down the middle. They were sharing it with, I think it said a coffee festival? What the fuck is a coffee festival? These little superhero dollies, they're really not my cup of tea, but that's the fun thing about toy fairs. You get to have a look at some different things. Like a dandy. This table caught my eye straight away. Mostly that big shiny Superman logo. Also, this Tron guy looked pretty cool. I was in a Marvel Legends mood, so I was determined I was coming home with something. I spent quite a long time rummaging through all of this. Got some proper cool little retro bits here, like these Gladiator figures. How often do you see Gladiators? And these Street Fighter guys here too. 10-year-old me would have absolutely pounced on them. I noticed Finn's feet sticking right out of this box here, so I went straight in. It's mostly like sequel and Disney era figures. They weren't in the best condition really, obviously been played with. I did grab Poe. As much as I like the helmet though, it's not really the best version of Poe, is it? Who don't love Fireman Sam? These boxes here were just like digging through my 90s childhood. That cog from Power Rangers Zeo. At one point I would have absolutely loved that. I think if you're a kid in the 90s, we all had this Bane at some point. I was well happy to come across this little Masked Rider. I had this thing as a kid and I loved it. I had his car and his motorbike and everything. I remember I lost his little sword at one point and I found it like 4 or 5 years later inside a pipe. I'd obviously put it in there playing some kind of game and forgot because, you know, kids are stupid. Completely did not mean to go straight towards these My Little Ponies. It's cool to see all these proper retro vintage Star Wars figures. Not my thing at all, but seeing them all together, it is pretty cool. I'll be honest, I thought quite a few of these went for a lot more money than that. It's like some kind of Street Fighter G.I. Joe or something. Drop us a comment if you know what it is. I got a little bit excited when I noticed what is obviously the foot of a walker down there at the bottom. It was well and truly buried underneath all this crap. After all that digging though, not really worth it. Here's another one. I always wanted this from being like 4 or 5 years old, this Megazord. I just recently stopped collecting Power Rangers though. When they ended the Lightning collection, I sold all of mine off. Otherwise I would have been right in here and bought that because the whole thing's there complete. Well, complete enough anyway. Maybe missing a few weapons or whatever, but still got me excited to see it. Again, I'm really not into these retro Kenner figures, so I don't really know why I spent so long rummaging through these. There's just something I find appealing about a giant box full of stuff all piled on top of each other. Surely you'd want to try and keep some of these at least slightly protected, but I suppose these are all beaters. This was a cool little table of 3D printed stuff. Again, didn't really have any intention of buying anything. But you know, they're pretty cool, very creative, so thought I'd show them off. There's the name, go and check them out. I've seen Cosmic Toys a few times and they had all these Marvel Legends all piled up, so I had 3 or 4 rummages through all of this. I've always liked the look of this Ironheart. I think Hasbro did a really good job of that one. And it was definitely cool finding this red Onslaught in here. I'm pretty sure it said it was 85 quid. I'm sure that's probably right, but I'm not spending that much. Right next to that was this bin of mostly like classic DC Direct DC figures. I noticed this back cycle at the bottom. I was very tempted by that. 25 quid seems like a good deal too. And there's Jim Gordon. McFarlane really need to make a new version of Commissioner Gordon. I'm sure I'm not the only one who'd snap that up. That's a decent little Ahsoka. I've already got that one in my collection. I 100% would have grabbed this Shaak Ti if she'd had a lightsaber with her. Thinking about it, I've probably got enough spares knocking around I could have given her one. Oh well. I was looking for a price on these Lord of the Rings statues. Want to know if they're worth anything, because I've still got my whole collection gathering dust in a cupboard at my mum's house somewhere from when I was like 8 years old. Obviously some more Power of the Force, Power of the Jedi. The cards in these were pretty decent. I almost picked up these little accessory packs. They're just a bit too dated for me now, but wouldn't we love to see some more accessory packs? Any brand, any line. I just recently bought a C-3PO. This one was on my maybe list. Having it in hand, I'm glad I didn't pick it up. It's a bit too basic for me. I was quite eagerly having a look through these little accessories here. I know it's very specific, but my Obi-Wan Kenobi's got the wrong lightsaber. I was determined I was going to find one in here. All these boxes of stuff are like 50p each. I kind of wish I'd grabbed a couple of those stands or something. I always wonder how well these like neon lights and 3D printed things actually sell at these kind of fairs. Obviously they're very cool, but are these the kind of things that people come here to buy? Couple of these massive dinosaurs and Godzillas at the bottom. I'll be honest, I tripped over them about 3 or 4 times. I had to just keep standing them back up and apologising. We're back with the Scottish guy from the start here. These Hulks all caught my eye, so he let me actually come round the back and have a look through them. I'm slightly annoyed I didn't grab this Hulk. I've already got a grey Hulk in my collection, so I thought, that'll do. But it was the one, you know, the one when you walk away and you think, oh, why didn't I grab that? This guy actually wasn't at his stall at this point. I kind of wish he was there for me to ask what this was. Looked like a custom-made Frankenstein sort of diorama. It turned a Marvel Legends Zemo into Dr. Frankenstein at the back. Having one last rummage through these Legends. Like I said, I was determined I'm coming home with one. This is what the universe gave me. The ugliest figure in existence. Alright, so after 2 or 3 laps around, that's me ready to go back home and get in bed. Before that though, we've got a few bits to take a look at. Alright, we're back. Wasn't too bad of a morning. As you can see, it was obviously a bit small. I thought there was probably going to be a few more vendors there than there was. On the other hand, 8 AM on a Sunday morning, I'm full of a cold. Kinda thankful I didn't have to be walking around hundreds of vendors now I think about it. I did manage to pick up a few little bits without spending too much money really. They all came from the same person in the end. I wish I'd caught the guy's name. He did me quite a good deal on all of these. He had a really thick Scottish accent. He's a real friendly guy. He kept trying to talk to me, asking me questions about stuff, and too early for that for me. I was just nodding politely and smiling. Altogether, I only spent 40 quid, which considering what's here, I don't think I did too badly for myself really. Let's grab this guy first. So at one point I was standing there holding this in my hand, and I had in the other hand the McFarlane version of him, and I was going back and forth for a good 3 or 4 minutes. In the end I just decided that this version, it just looks cooler, doesn't it? He's got the guns and the jacket's open. I much prefer the face sculpt as well. He needed quite a bit of a clean because he was dirty. Obviously it happens sometimes with second-hand toys. I don't really care too much, but this dust was caked on. And as you can see, his legs are a bit loose as well, but it's quite easily fixed. Just a tiny dab of super glue just in these joints here, and you just keep it moving and moving and moving whilst it dries. It just tightened them up quite nicely in the end. He was 15. Seems like a good enough deal to me. I don't even necessarily collect Halo. I do have a Master Chief figure with the Warthog. That was enough for me, but I saw this sitting on the edge of the table and I thought that looks really cool. I don't have too much to say about it really, other than I like how it looks. Obviously it comes with his gravity hammer. It's a pretty good head sculpt. He's another one that I thought goes for at least 20 quid. The guy sold it to me for a £5. I did manage to get Black Series Poe and Finn. Obviously, someone's had a bit of a mess around with this Finn. Looks like they've swapped from here downwards with the young Han Solo. I actually had a chance to pick up just the actual version of it, and it just looked so plain and boring. And then I stumbled across this guy. Just caught my attention for some reason, so at least he's slightly more interesting. And then we got the Last Jedi version of Poe Dameron, which is the better one. He actually, Finn for some reason had his blaster in that holster, and he had a Skywalker lightsaber in his. So I guess I have a spare lightsaber now. Again, £5 each. Can't really complain. And then lastly, the Spider Assassin droid from Clone Wars. This, I've definitely seen go on eBay for 20, 30, even 40 quid. Again, the guy sold it to me for a £5. Could be due to the fact that somebody seems to have scribbled some kind of crap on it with a permanent marker. That's not too big a deal to me. You can actually remove that with just a tiny bit of acetone, which I will be doing. Might do just a short video on that if anyone wants to see it. It's quite an easy process. I was definitely happy to pick this up though. It's quite a cool design. Yeah, I think I'll do an update once I've removed this. Looking back over the footage, the guy had some actually pretty good stuff in there that I didn't notice whilst I was rummaging around. So if on the off chance that you're that guy and you happen to be watching this video, number 1, sorry for not being very talkative. Number 2, hit me up. It wasn't a bad day out really, considering how much it cost me to get there and back in a taxi, and how small the actual event was. I kind of feel like I have to say it wasn't really worth it. Obviously, I was there super early, so who knows, maybe it livened up a bit after a while. We'll stay positive about it. I enjoyed getting out of the house and having a look around, saw some cool stuff. I'm happy with what I came away with. Drop us a comment down below if you went. Let me know if you saw anything decent. Shout outs to the subscriber who commented on one of my other videos actually mentioning this place. I forgot your name, I'm sorry. I'll put it here. I didn't even know this was happening until I saw that, so it was sort of like a last minute trip. And any money I ended up spending, I'm going to tell my wife it was your fault. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.